Okay, today we're going to be installing a knockdown hollow metal frame window into this opening here. The window comes in 4 pieces. This here is a side jamb. The side jambs will have the tensioners, a compression tensioner that tightens the whole window up to hold it in place. Some people I've seen put these in where the tensioner's on the sill and on the header, but to me that's a little bit backwards. I always put them in on the side. Secondly, when I cut my opening, like this one here was an existing wall, when I cut my opening, it's difficult once you cut the studs from the top and the bottom. It's hard to get a sill and a top plate in, but it's real easy to slide a stud on each side and secure it. Some people I've seen use wood, but this particular building's a non-combustible building, and so I used 20 gauge steel stud. You can probably use a 25 gauge stud, but it's a little bit light, a lot lighter gauge, a little more flimsy, and a 20 gauge stud is a lot more stout, and your window will tighten up a lot better. When I sized my window, I took the measurement. I actually ordered the window that I wanted, the size that I wanted, and like this is the side jamb. I've got 43 inches. That'll be my glass. The opening that holds my glass is 43 inches. So on my height, I add 2 inches to that. So I've got a 45-inch high opening. My width, I add 2 3/4 of an inch. And that sounds like a lot, but you need that extra space. Normally, if you're cutting in a door for a knockdown frame, I generally add 1 inch to the height and then 1.5 inches to the width, but you need a little bit more room when you go to put that 4th piece in your window. And so, like I said, I went 2 3/4 inches wider on my width and 2 inches higher on my height. And when I first started putting them in, I like to start out with a header. Now, this wall here is a 3 5/8 metal stud, has 5/8 inch sheetrock on each side. And so when I ordered my window, I ordered this throat clearance to be 4 7/8. And that way it's a good snug fit. So when I stick my header up in here, as you'll see, it's not going to come crashing down on me. Also, to keep note, if you notice this side here is narrower than this side on the jamb, the wider side is where your glass goes, and then you have your glass stop. Normally, most windows are installed so the glass goes in on the inside of the window, but this particular building, all the other existing windows, they installed the windows so that the glass went in from the outside, so that's why I'm going to install this one. So this wider side is actually going to be out on this side here. So starting with the header, just slide it right up in here, kind of centered in my hole, and I push it up as high as it'll go. And it's kind of tight enough it just kind of stays, it won't come crashing down on you. Then take your side jamb, the one that has your compression. There's a compression screw on the top and the bottom, and kind of come in at an angle. It's going to be kind of a snug fit around your sheetrock, which is what you want. Let's see. I need to slide this one over just a little bit because this column's sticking out a little bit more on this side, and I don't have quite as much clearance. Bring this kind of at an angle. Get that down in there. Up. Bring this down just a little bit to where these little tabs here, you can see that in the video, fold in there. Pull that in. Now I'm going to push this back as far as I can get it to that side for now, and then I'll recenter. Bring this in. And I push this as far as I can get on this side. Once I get all 4 pieces in, then I'll kind of reposition it in my opening. Then I've got my header, I've got one leg in, then I put my sill in. Do it the same way. Kind of come in at an angle, so these little tabs go on the inside, and it kind of folds down. Pull this in a little bit until it snaps. I need to use a pry bar on this one because I don't have any thing to grasp onto on the other side of the wall because it's up tight against that column. Until it kind of snaps in there. Then push this all the way down. This as far to that way as it'll go. And this all the way up to give myself room for my last piece. Slide this up, get it kind of hooked in there. So when I bring this around, I've got enough clearance to clear my bottom sill. And then I kind of bring this up to it. And then okay, now then, it's basically in there, but it's kind of cattywampus in our opening. So then you can see my screws from where I screwed the studs in on the side. So I want to position, kind of center my window in my hole, cover up these screws as I reposition and square it up. Okay, got some screws showing there. Come this way a little bit. Okay, see how we are for plumb. My top needs to go to the right just a little bit. It's looking pretty good, but I got a little bit of a screw showing there. I might have to just use some spackle because I got a little bit on here too, get them pretty plumb. So I might have to mud that screw just a little bit. And plumb there. My top needs to come down on this side here. How are we compared to our door? We might want to actually raise this side up. Okay, that looks pretty good. Need to come to the left just a little bit on our bottom. Pull these back in so they snap back in. That's looking good. Header looks good. Our side jamb looks good. And our sill is good. Let me check the other side right quick, see how it looks. It don't look too bad. There's a couple of screws I'm barely seeing the edge on, but I believe we're ready to tighten it up. You go to tighten these compression anchors. You can use a screw gun, but also have a hand screwdriver. You want to go in a like you're loosening it. If like you're counterclockwise to tighten, and then that pushes the compression. But if you just completely tighten it up just straightly with a screw gun, you can actually bow these out a little bit, dent it. It doesn't look like it was professionally installed. So I just use a screw gun until I start to feel it grab right there. Right there. Okay. And then I tighten it the rest of the way up with a hand screwdriver. That way it doesn't bow this out. Snug that up, and it'll close these gaps. And you might even hear it click, to snap it in. And once you've snugged those up, double check with your level again. Check with your level again, make sure nothing shifted on you. Because if this isn't in here level and plumb and it ends up being a little out of square, you'll have trouble with the glass fitting in right. And we look pretty good. So now we're ready for paint and the glass. And I hope this clears up any questions you might have had in the easiest way installing one of these windows. Thanks for watching.